Hi, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. All right. So we'll just start in a couple of seconds. All right. So I want to welcome everyone to our webinar series on open science for the discoverability of African research. My name is AfricArXiv, Project Manager at AfricArXiv. AfricArXiv is a community-led digital archive for African research communication. By enhancing the visibility of African research, we enable discoverability and collaboration opportunities for African scientists on the continent as well as globally. Today, we welcome our speaker, Johansen Obanda, who is also joined by some Crossref ambassadors representing the African region. So Johansen Obanda joined Crossref in 2023 to work with Crossref ambassadors to effectively engage their communities and support Crossref's outreach initiatives. Obanda is passionate about building an inclusive research ecosystem where researchers across the globe can easily access scientific knowledge and make meaningful connections. His previous experience includes social entrepreneurship and science communication. Some of the Crossref ambassadors we have joining us today are Baraka Ngusa from Tanzania, Ahmed Mustafa from Egypt, Mercury Shikindo from Kenya, Omi Ndiaye from Senegal, Audrey Kenny from Cameroon, and Abu Mary Blessing from Nigeria. So thank you all for coming. And now over to our first speaker, Johansen Obanda.
Hello, hi. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great, thank you very much. Great, so I'll just share my screen. Thank you very much, Mbuka, for the introduction. Thank you, Joe Haveman, for hosting this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great, I hope that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so it's an honor to make a presentation about enabling African research item discoverability to the Research Nexus today, and to be joined by everyone. So hello, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're joining us from. So once again, my name is Johansen Obanda. I'm Community Engagement Manager at Crossref, and I work with the ambassadors and also help with the Publishers Learning and Exchange community, which is a Discord community. I'll start my presentation by introducing our ambassadors. I'm aware that some of them are not going to be making it today because of some last-minute commitments, but I hope that we're joined by even one of our ambassadors in Africa. So I'm going to share right now about the Crossref Ambassadors Program. We consulted with the community, and we identified that our members wanted a local expert on hand to provide support as and when needed, and also increased member training events both online and in person in the local region, time zone, and language. They also wanted representatives from Crossref at events in their region, and a conduit for other members and stakeholders in the region. They also wanted a liaison to the Crossref team. And so we started our ambassadors program in early 2018. Now ambassadors are trusted contacts who share an enthusiasm and belief in our mission work within their local communities to help them to get to grips with Crossref. They are global eyes and ears and a special part of our team. And the objectives of the ambassador program is to gain a deeper understanding of certain audiences or countries, and for education to both existing members and new audiences, and improving communication with and between non-English speaking communities, and empower our members to help and advise each other. In Africa, we currently have 8 ambassadors, and these are part of our 51 volunteers around the world, working in a variety of roles, including publishers, editors, librarians, system engineers, and researchers. And it is important to note as well that the idea for an ambassador program came from recognizing that there were already people around the world who are working within their local communities to translate our documentation, conduct training, and even give talks about Crossref. And we realized that we should officially recognize the work that they were already doing on our behalf and be able to provide them with a level of support which would make their lives easier, while at the same time improving global representation of Crossref and improving our own knowledge about the diverse communities that we're working. We encourage women to apply and join our ambassador program from countries not represented here. For example, and if you're in an African country, and also where we have the need for local representation and community support. And more details can be found on crossref.org/community/ambassadors. And now let me pass on to any ambassador joining to further introduce themselves. I think it's so Mercury only. And if there's anyone else who's joining, so you can maybe, yeah. Thank you, Mercury.
Thank you, Obanda, for the elaborate introduction. I'm also grateful to meet everybody who's on call today. My name is Mercury Shitindo. I'm based in Kenya. I'm a bioethicist and also a researcher. I'm also an editor at Africa Journal of Bioethics. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to an interactive session and learning and sharing with each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you just, maybe Mercury still, would you just say maybe a little bit about why being a Crossref ambassador is important for you or for your country?
Thank you. Well, being a Crossref ambassador is important for me because I have been doing all I can from the small space I have been to promote open science and make our research discoverable. And apart from that, being able to bring about inclusivity and diversity. Being an ambassador for Crossref gives me an opportunity or a platform to be able to foster such collaboration and being able to promote this from within the continent, from within the region, and from within the country. And I have been able to be part of discussion that brings about such change or the initiation of collaboration or partnerships that can be able to bring about such change that would foster open access. Thank you. Is there another question?
No. Thank you very much. Nice that you mentioned collaboration and also building connections, because most of what we're going to talk about today is also about how connectedness of research is important. Connected of research and people and entities around research is important. I'm not sure if we're joined by any other ambassador today. Anyone else? Yeah, I know some of them emailed last minute that they will not join today. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go on. Thank you very much, Mercury, and maybe I'll call on you for some of the insights and as we go along. Great. So next I'll move on to introduce Crossref. This is our mission statement. We make research objects easy to find, cite, link, access, and be used. We are a non-profit membership organization that exists to make scholarly communications better. Now, let us move on to a quick overview of who and what Crossref is and does. Crossref was founded in the year 2000 by a few scientific societies and publishers, mostly based in the US and Western Europe, who were seeking an efficient way to link references in journal articles. And one solution for doing this was to use DOIs, or digital object identifier, which are persistent identifiers that specifies the content of an online object. And this means it remains associated with the object, irrespective of changes to the object's web address. Crossref started as a collaborative central reference linking service, which uses DOI for this purpose, and it aims to be an accessible service which is governed by the global scholarly communications community. Today, 23 years since its inception, Crossref does much more than reference linking. Crossref's membership comprises of over 19,000 members from 152 countries, and about 35% of these members are publishers, with another 40% self-identifying as research institutions and universities, and the other 25% is made up of a combination of funders, museums, repositories, government organizations, conference providers, standard bodies, individual scholars, and news outlets. Our members have so far registered over 150 million metadata records across all content types. And all of these items contain a range of metadata which varies based on the content type. We facilitate an average of 1.1 billion DOI resolutions, that is clicks of a DOI link every month. And our APIs see over 1 billion queries of our metadata every month. We also work with third-party service providers and metadata users who do not contribute to our metadata store, but make use of it for our API and search interfaces for a variety of different purposes. All of our metadata is openly available. And I also want to mention that we work with around 150 sponsor organizations, which are our partner organizations and support smaller organizations to register their metadata. We also have 51 ambassadors who are trusted contacts that I talked about. And our team is small but mighty, comprising of 47 staff members spread across 10 countries. And why do organizations decide to join Crossref? A primary reason is to become part of a globally connected network of scholarly research. And this allows them to show people where their research content is located and updated, and that information with persistent identifiers where the content moves. By creating a persistent identifier for each object, it enhances the discoverability of their publications through robust metadata, making their content more likely to be found. Crossref membership also benefits such as the ability to determine who is using their content and the opportunity to participate in collaborative services. Moreover, the metadata provided by our members powers a variety of additional services that we have developed at Crossref, and thus benefit our members and the wider academic community. So there are numerous compelling reasons to join Crossref and become part of its community. I will now move on to the Research Nexus part of our presentation. And as this webinar is about open science and about item discoverability, or basically African item discoverability, and Research Nexus will help us to visualize our connectedness of research objects, people and organizations help to achieve African item discoverability, African research item discoverability. So we just had that one of the benefits of joining Crossref is to improve the discoverability of publications and research. So how does this happen? It happens with the metadata that is sent to us when members register their content. And content registration allows members to register DOI for an item and deposit its associated metadata. And when you join Crossref as a member, you are issued a DOI prefix. This is combined with a suffix to create a DOI. The DOI is just one piece of metadata that is sent to us. And members maintain and update metadata long term. For example, telling us if that content moves to a new website. And they include more information as it becomes available. And this means that there is a growing chance that content is cited, linked to, included in assessment, and used by other researchers. So let us understand a bit more about what metadata is. Metadata is data that provides information about other data, but not the content of the data. It gives structure and context to existing data. In the context of scholarly metadata, when Crossref members register their content with us, they supply us with a wide range of metadata. And basic metadata include things like titles, authors, publication dates, issue numbers, ISSN, ISBN, basically anything that describes the content you're registering. We also collect additional data about the items being registered, and these include reference lists, funding data, ORCID IDs, license data, clinical trial information, abstracts, and data about relationships between items. Information on errata, retractions, updates, and more can be registered through our Crossmark service. The metadata that is sent will vary based on the type of content that is being registered. And we usually ask our members to send us as much metadata as possible and that it be accurate and clean. And the more comprehensive your metadata is, the more likely your content will be discovered and disseminated. However, this is only true if that metadata is accurate. So please, you don't have to worry about including information that you're not sure about. The records must be updated for free. And in fact, we strongly encourage that you do that whenever you have more information to add to your records. So I spoke so much about metadata, so you must be wondering why registering comprehensive metadata is important. Well, it's because many organizations and researchers use that metadata to find content that you publish. And this is because Crossref metadata is standardized and machine readable. It is very useful to many organizations that create tools and services using the metadata. And these include author profiling tools, manuscript tracking systems, library discovery services, metrics providers, and more. And we receive over 600 million metadata queries per month across all of our search interfaces. So what does metadata do? A lot of things. 4 things here that metadata enables. Metadata helps to determine the integrity of research, who funded the research, what are the affiliations of the authors, and could there be conflict of interest. Reproducibility is also critical. Researchers need to be able to build upon each other's work. Verifying and reproducing the results from earlier work is helped by metadata, such as links to funding, protocols, research data, and peer review reports help to create a complete picture of work. Reporting and assessment may be carried out by a variety of organizations, including university and funders, in order to show the accountability and benefits of public investment. Also provide benchmarking information, demonstrate compliance with fund mandates, and decide what research to fund, including metadata such as affiliation, ROR identifiers, ORCID IDs, funding and grant information, license URL, peer review reports, and links to preprints also help with this. We also heard about discoverability. And this is, I think, is quite important and also key to this webinar. The more metadata you include about a piece of content, the easier it is for others to search and discover, from researchers to organizations who use Crossref metadata to build their own tools and services for the research community. And a few examples of how our books metadata project has shown that books with basic metadata are more likely to come up in searches in Google Scholar. Journal articles with deposited reference seem to be cited more than those without. Our collaboration efforts support the Research Nexus. Crossref partners with other organizations. The following, it's not limited to this, but a few examples are ORCID, DataSite, and PKP to provide coordinated services. Directory of open access journals and Crossref work together, for example, to enable content from journals indexed on DOAJ to be more easily identified through the use of Crossref metadata. ORCID auto update also enables publications with Crossref DOIs to be automatically added to ORCID author profiles. The Crossref plugin for OJS enables OJS users to register DOIs with Crossref. And PKP can act as a membership representative for eligible users of Open Journal System who are not able to join Crossref directly due to financial, administrative, or technical barriers. Having seen the benefits of metadata, I want to use the next 3 slides to show specific examples of usefulness of metadata that members deposit to us, and also open to the audience maybe to share what their perspectives about Research Nexus is. The first example is ORCID auto update. You must be aware of ORCID IDs, or which is a persistent identifiers for individual researchers. It allows everyone, such as authors, publishers, funders, and more, to uniquely identify the work done by an individual and accurately attribute it to them. Crossref ORCID auto update feature means that if a researcher gives Crossref permission to update their ORCID report, when an article is published with their ORCID IDs included in the metadata, this will automatically be added to the researcher's ORCID profile. It saves the author's time and increases trust in the data by enabling the automatic exchange of information between research systems and ORCID records. Another interesting feature is being able to add or claim records and add them to your ORCID author profile. And this is an interface with myself signed in to the Crossref search interface or page where you can search other metadata. You can search by article, by author name, journal name, article title, or the DOI, for example. So the first thing you need to sign in on the top right, there will be there's an ORCID ID logo icon that you can sign in with, and once you are there, you can search a number of records, and then the claim your ORCID capability will be possible. And so you will see the ORCID icons on every article on the list. And so I searched by my name and Africa, and some publications are in my record. For example, the first one is in my record, and I can add others to my record as well. So I can add it to my record, and that is something that is interesting to individual authors, also to librarians to use. And another example is of reference metadata. So members can register references, which means that they can include references in their metadata deposits. All references in Crossref are openly available since 2022. As of now, so journal articles with deposited references seem to be cited more than journal articles without deposited references. This suggests another reason why depositing references is important. A member that doesn't deposit references will not only lack important context of their work, but also miss a lot of citations to their own content. effectively lowering their own cited by counts. So I also talked about around 22% of citations links are between works of the same member, meaning that a lot of incoming citations links are in fact coming from inside the house, so from a Crossref members. Yeah, so what is the Research Nexus? So what I'll be talking about and metadata is central to achieving the Research Nexus. And maybe I would invite Mercury once more to share her perspectives as well about the Research Nexus. Mercury, if you're in a position to.
Sorry, I was just trying to, just give me a moment.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry, please, please repeat the question.
Great. Yeah. So so we'll be talking about metadata and how it is central to achieving Research Nexus. And I just wanted to also hear from your perspective about the Research Nexus, generally.
Well, from my own perspective, how I see the Research Nexus is a platform which enables us to have long-term sustainability. And it's also a way in which most of us can be able to have access to funding. And we are not talking about funding in form of just only maybe in form of applications. It can be in a way of how you collaborate with each other and some of the connections you make through this. It also plays a big role in having creating a space for interoperability where between the different systems and platforms, and being able to have a way in which we can organize also our data and manage it, and have a way of also enabling us to have data quality and integrity in the long run. So I don't know if that helps people be able to have like a better understanding of some of the benefits of the Research Nexus.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also mentioning collaboration and funding, or funding enable collaboration, or collaboration
Data
enable
quality,
integrity,
interoperability.
So all of these
it's how they all come together to be able to have a long-term goal of sustainability in the long run, because at the end of the day, that's what most of us are always looking for. Like when you do something, you want to ensure that you will always be able to be in a position to do it. So one of the ways in which you can be able to ensure this, like having this nexus, is one of the ways we can look at as achieving that particular objective of sustainability.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I would build on what you said as like connectedness basically of all of these different dynamics, like as a researcher, or as a, it depends on which angle you view the Research Nexus from. As a publisher, or maybe like working within an institution that is producing some kind of research output, you might think about a lot of other things, like for example, like funding that Mercury mentioned. You might think about working with other systems. So you might think about interoperability. You might think about the quality and trustworthiness of your research. So you might think about like integrity of that scholarly record. And this is where like the Research Nexus comes in. It's like it connects all of these, and and makes all of this possible, especially or makes all this possible, especially for sustainability purposes. And yeah, so what is the Research Nexus? So the Crossref Research Nexus vision, it aims to create a rich and interconnected network of relationships, connecting research organizations, people, research objects, and actions. A scholarly record that the global community can build on forever and for the benefit of society. I want to describe here that what we see on the screen. As you can see, that there are a series of concentric circles in different colors, which shows the various objects and actors in the research ecosystem, and also how they act on each other and relate to each other. At the center of the nexus are articles with preprints, but also data, software, and posters. We also include people, authors, translators, editors, and organizations, funders, publishers, research institutions. Around the outside are actions that happen to these items and ways in which they relate to each other. Supported by, and this is supported by open source initiatives. Many more items are now available and linkable. The foundation of the Research Nexus is metadata, and the richer and more comprehensive the metadata in Crossref records, the more value there is for members in our community. This is I would say this is like the main content to how we would enable African research item discoverability. And maybe if there are some questions already to be answered at this point, yeah, Ibuka, you can share those. Otherwise, I would next talk about the GEM program and how maybe many countries can benefit to contributing to the Research Nexus, or even to being to discoverability of the research output from their institutions. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Obanda, for taking us so far through the activities of Crossref and how they're helping to promote the discoverability of research items from Africa. So I'll just ask this question before you carry on. So now we've heard what Crossref is doing with the Research Nexus. So I want to ask, are there challenges in the implementation of Crossref's initiatives to promote the discoverability of African research items? Are there any challenges using the Research Nexus, that is?
Oh, great. Yeah, I would say there are, of course, challenges, I would say, including the adoption, maybe. I would say, is it challenges, or I would put it as a gap. What are the gaps to like achieving the Research Nexus vision? I think it depends with it mostly is tied to the adoption of open science, maybe policies by certain countries that would then facilitate or create an supportive environment to adopt open infrastructure like Crossref. Okay, because like as I mentioned previously, that the content that Crossref members contribute creates more value to the rest of the scholarly community, because now they can be found, they can be accessible and found, because we make all of that open, right? And so I think it depends with the different countries digitizing their archives or their repositories, and also adopting open infrastructure services, maybe like DSpace or OJS, whichever tools that they use within their repositories to then archive their work. And also the other gap would be like financing their internal or their financing their publication processes, for example, being able, because open infrastructure also will come at a cost, for example. But at Crossref, we're trying to reduce those gaps, and I think I'm going to talk more about that in in the next part of my presentation.
All right, thank you very much. That was a beautiful answer. So you can carry on to the next phase of your presentation now.
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, so over the years, we have heard from various communities about the challenges that they face when looking to join Crossref. The reasons may differ by region, but these are generally a combination of financial, language, and technical challenges. And I think these also are an addition to what you asked, Ebuka, about what would be the challenges that we're facing towards achieving Research Nexus in Africa, or even the challenges that institutions or others, or basically all stakeholders will be facing in achieving the research item discoverability. We know that for some, cost can be the largest barrier to joining Crossref, and our GEM program was created to help to lower this barrier for organizations in certain regions. When Crossref began 23 years ago, our first members were mainly from the United States and Western Europe. But today, our membership is much more global and diverse. Our membership has grown to more than 19,000 organizations around the world. However, we're not seeing significant membership growth from all regions. In the last several years, almost half of our members came from Southeastern Asia, Eastern Europe, and Latin America. And some of the highest numbers are from Indonesia, Brazil, Turkey, Colombia, South Korea, for example. However, there is much slower growth in other regions, most notably Northern and Sub-Saharan Africa and parts of Central Asia, with only 5% of new member applications coming from these regions collectively. But we know that there are organizations in those areas contributing to the scholarly record. So let's look at some possible barriers for why not every organization that wishes to become a member is able to do so. Having in mind that there are over 6,000 EISSNs in Africa collectively. In the past, we had a limited fee assistance program to waive the content registration fees for members working under specific partner arrangements. But these programs were limited in scope. Learning from the experiences of these partnerships, we expanded this program to provide greater membership equitability and accessibility to organizations located in the least economically advantaged countries. This new program now encompasses the annual fee as well as the content registration fees. Eligibility for the program is based on a member's country, and our list of countries is predominantly based on the International Development Association list, ideally, which uses the World Bank Income Classification. We have discussed with the World Bank, which is also a Crossref member, and they also prioritize the IDA countries in their own strategies for access and other support. The list will undergo an annual review, and countries may be added or removed over time as economic situations change. And starting in January 2023, organizations based in countries listed in our GEM program are eligible to join Crossref and contribute with their metadata to the scholarly record. We must note that 59 countries are covered based on the International Development Association data, and more than 350 GEM members have joined since January 2023. And the goal is to include as much research as possible in the global into the global scholarly record. And this is only necessary because our fee model hasn't kept up with how our community has evolved. These slide shows the different countries in Africa, the different GEM eligible countries in Africa. So if you're participating today and you see a country that you're coming from, you can see, for example, from the first from the top of the list, Benin. We have like one member from Benin in Crossref, and then to the last members to the last country, Zambia, where we have like 5 members who join. We have some countries participating quite much. Like Ghana has like 18 members. It's a GEM eligible country, so they join under the GEM program. And we have some countries which do not have any members join at all. For example, Sierra Leone or Niger. Overview. So there's still many members without any participation. Over time, more widely now, more organizations can join under the GEM program. GEM covers the annual membership fee and the content registration fees for all content types. It does not cover similarity check or metadata plus. GEM eligible members are able to add these additional services to their accounts. However, there's a fee associated with them. Similarity check is a service we run in partnership with Taniten, and members pay an annual administrative fee of $55, as well as document checking fees. For all members, we waive the fees for the first 100 documents checked, and after that, the fees are 75 cents or per document. All of our metadata is freely available with our search tools and API, but there is a fee for our premium metadata plus service, which offers combined machine access to all available metadata in XML and JSON formats with some additional features. For most people, the free search tools are sufficient. And yeah, so to become a GEM member, to become a member, to join Crossref, either as a GEM or a non-GEM member, this is how to get started. You would need to visit crossref.org/membership, and would ask for some more information, including name of your organization, the URL of your organization, your mailing address, and other contacts like a primary contact, voting contact, technical or metadata quality contact. And part of the application contains a confirmation that you have read a summary of your obligations as a member. And once you become a Crossref member, you receive a welcome email from our membership team that contains your prefix, which you will use to create your UIs, and your Crossref login and instruction to create a password, and links to access the different content registration tools. You'll get follow-on emails to help you register your content, participate in additional services, and generally help you along your services, along with the Crossref services. There are many types of content that can be registered with Crossref. Most people know that your eyes are used for journal articles, but Crossref accepts all types of content listed here. And we are working to make our input schema more flexible so that almost any type of objects can be registered and distributed openly through Crossref. And each content type we support has a unique set of requirements and recommended metadata. Required metadata must be included or your submission will be rejected. Recommended metadata should be included to create a complete metadata record. And members do not need to let us know if they are adding a new content type or a new title. Use the same prefix for all content types. Yeah, and I will again still go back to Ebuka again. If there may be any questions or at this point as well, or if there's anything that we want to steer the discussion towards.
None for now. You can just carry on.
Okay, great.
When there is, I'll let you know. Or if any member of the audience has any question as it is now, he or she can ask before we move on to the next phase. Does anybody have any question? Maybe you can just type that in the chat. Then as we go along, we can just read it out to Obanda. Thank you very much. So you can move on, Obanda.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so once you become a Crossref member, you can use these three ways of registering your content. You can choose to register content by sending XML files directly, or if you're not able to do that, there are helper tools available. These helper tools collect the metadata and turn it into XML behind the scenes. Our web deposit form is one example of a helper tool, and for members who host your content on Node.js platform from PKP, there are Crossref plugins to help you add in your metadata and then register it with Crossref. So let's take a look at web deposit form and OJS. So our manual entry form, the web deposit form, is very basic. You enter your data field by field, and it writes and submits XML for processing, sorry. You may use this form for journal and book content, dissertation, conference proceedings, and reports. You don't need to know XML to use this form. You just type the information straight in. It is more limited in what it collects compared to what you can send via XML, but much more simple. Please know that you cannot deposit references using the web deposit form, but once you complete your deposit, you can use the simple text query tool to register your reference. Because so many member organizations use OJS, several years ago, Crossref and PKP began a collaboration to create a less technical method for OJS users to register metadata with us and help publishers and journals take advantage of Crossref services. To send us the metadata of your content using OJS, there are two steps. First, you need to enable the UI plugin. And then you choose the content that you want the UIs to be assigned to, such as articles. You enter the prefix that was sent to you in your membership email, and then you choose a suffix pattern. The next step is to enable the Crossref specific plugin. Here you will enter the name and email of the depositor and the username and password provided to you by Crossref, which your membership with your membership confirmation. You can find the Crossref plugin from your dashboard by navigating to Tools, Import or /export, then Crossref XML export plugin. The additional services that also enable content item discoverability, we'll just review a few of them. And it's important to note that they help to increase your content discoverability and improve metadata quality. Reference linking is the first one. It makes it possible for readers to follow a URI link from the reference list of a published work to the location of the full text document on a member's publishing platform, thereby building a network of infrastructure that enhances scholarly communication on the web. Reference linking means including Crossref URIs, which is displayed as URL, when you create your location or your citation list. These enables researchers to follow a link from a reference list to other full text documents and help them to make connections and discover new things. And because it's a DOI rather than just a link, it will remain persistent. The next one is cited by. Researchers cite the work of other people to support material they have used when writing their articles. The cited by helps to be able to see which articles are citing an article that you are reading and how the researchers continue to develop their ideas. This is the main function of cited by. It shows the number of citations and links to the publications that cite the article. Cited by allows members to show others and readers that other Crossref content has cited their content. Members may request this information from Crossref and display it on their website in whatever format that they like. The similarity check service helps Crossref members prevent scholarly and professional plagiarism by providing immediate feedback regarding a manuscript similarity to other published academic and general web content through a reduced rate access to the authenticated text comparison software from Turnitin. And this service does not have, it has additional fees and they're not covered by the GEM program. The crossmark button gives readers quick and easy access to the current status of an item of content, including any corrections, retractions, or updates to the record. Research doesn't stand still. So even after publications, articles can be updated with supplementary data or corrections. And it's important to know if that content being cited has been updated, corrected, or retracted. Crossmark makes this information more visible to readers. With one click, you can see if content has changed and access valuable additional metadata provided by the members, such as key publication dates, submission, revision, acceptance, plagiarism, screening status, and information about license, handling editors, and peer review. Crossmark lets readers know when a substantial change affecting the citation or interpretation has occurred, and that the members has updated the metadata record to reflect their new status. And lastly, I'm going to share about the place, and this is where the place. It's the publishers, learning, and community exchange. And you can find it at the place.discourse.group. And it is a new, relatively new publication forum that is created for organizations that are interested in adopting best practices in scholarly publishing. So if you're a publisher, this is not a great place for you. And new scholarly publishers can access information from multiple agencies in one place, ask questions of the experts, and join conversations with each other. It is an information service that is set up as a forum to encourage open exchange with publishers who aspire to do things right. So you want to increase the discoverability of your organization or of a publishing organization, and so you can sign in, look at the different categories, get in, start a discussion, or answer to other people's queries as well. You can browse through the topics of interest, ask questions in response to posts already existing on the forum, and also you can start new topics with any of the forum categories. You'll need to register as a user to do that. So in the place you can find trusted and accurate. You can also find a solution to problems that you might have, gain a better understanding of standards, share experiences and best practices, and ask your own questions. So thank you all for your audience. I hope that you found the information valuable. And I want to wrap by saying that our GEM program, the Pro GEM program, hope that Crossref membership is more accessible to organizations that wish to become members. The value of Crossref comes from our members and the metadata that is registered. That's creating a rich and reusable open network of relationships, connecting organizations, people, things, and actions to be used by the global community. Building this network for the global community must include input from all of the global community. Thank you very much. And yeah, so this slide includes, if you need any further help and information, we have like documentation, a link to our GEM program, and you can also email us support or member art. And we also encourage you to check out our community forum, where you can also post questions to the group in English or any other language. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Wait, it seems like, oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Ibuka, you're back.
Thank
okay.
you.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Ubanda. Thank you. It was a wonderful session. And thank you for taking us all through what Crossref is doing to help promote the visibility of African research. So at this moment, if we have questions from the audience, you can just ask or type it in the chat if you don't feel comfortable talking.
Maybe I can call on yeah, I can call on the sponsor joining the call today.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they lost in the chat here. Let's see. Yeah, do we have any questions? You can feel free to unmute. Yeah, I think the AJPS, yeah, it's a sponsor organization in Africa.
Okay. In the absence of any, I think I have one I want to ask. So we've looked at the challenges, right? So let me ask also, so are there opportunities that have risen in the implementation of Crossref's initiative to promote the discoverability of African research items? Just like we have challenges, are there opportunities?
Oh yeah, please ask again.
Okay, what I'm asking is, just like we have challenges to the implementation of Crossref's initiatives to the promotion of African research items, are there opportunities for African researchers as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
For African researchers, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think yes, definitely. I'm thinking right now with the different countries in Africa support adopting open policies. I think more opportunities for the already archived work in the African repositories, adopting or integrating with open infrastructure will now be maybe more visible, I'd say, beyond just Google Scholar indexing, for example, beyond just the EISSN, kind of like this level of discoverability of their work. And I'm also thinking that with the ORCID, for example, like researchers in Africa adopting or registering and getting ORCID IDs for their work and submitting that as part of their metadata to when they publish their content to publishers, and the content gets registered to get DOIs or other persistent identifiers, and then that content being able to track back to them as researchers and or being able to attribute it to the individual researchers and giving them more credibility and discoverability for their work as experts in those subjects. Yeah, so I'm thinking that's a great opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for that useful answer. So at this point, I don't know if any of the Crossref ambassadors would like
Connectivity issues. Sorry about that. I'm sure Ebuka will be back with us in just a second. Thank you so much, Obanda. It was really enlightening. Again, if anyone in this room wants to ask anything, this is the chance. We will share the summary of the conversation, the links, the resources on our page. Obanda, would you mind sharing your email address maybe in the chat so people can reach out to you if they're shy to ask here but want to get in touch later?
Great.
And I also put our email address so we can redirect or direct any questions that come up that you send us to Obanda and the Crossref team. Welcome back, Ebuka.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't worry, we know about the challenge with connectivity.
I think Ebuka, you're asking about if maybe you're asking if there's an ambassador who wants to do something.
Who wants to make any contribution? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, if there is none, we can just
Maybe
move on. I think we've gotten to the top of the hour.
Maybe if I might just share, Mercury had to leave to another meeting she mentioned, but Wanda, if you could share with us how people can engage with ambassadors in the respective countries.
Great, absolutely, yeah. So we have our ambassadors in state. I'm just gonna find the link. Yeah, so we have ambassadors. We have like 8 ambassadors in. We have 8 ambassadors in Africa, and you can always get in touch with us. If you use support at crossref.org, then you'll be directed to and you'll be directed to the respective ambassador in your region that can assist you with any concerns that you have. But you're also welcome to apply to the ambassador's program. Yeah.
I see that Boson was able to join us. He's working with DataCite. Boson, if you don't mind, maybe you can share a few words how DataCite and Crossref are actually working together to increase the adoption of DOIs now in Africa in particular, but also with joint initiatives for the promotion of persistent identifiers and other activities. And for everyone, Boson will be on this webinar still this year. We'll share the date in the chat. Boson, please.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I'm caught unaware. Hi to everyone, and I'm sorry for joining late. We are doing a lot, not only Crossref, RAW, ORCID, DataCite. We are doing a lot of work jointly to promote connectedness of research outputs. And in the Africa region that we are concentrating on, I mean, Johansson has mentioned about the ambassador program that's going on. I have another colleague that work with ORCID. They have done some things at the beginning of the year to provide some funding to support organizations to promote the adoption of persistent identifiers to support research connectedness. Johansson mentioned about the ambassador program, which they are trying to use to engage communities to talk to the bottom of the pyramids and the people in different segments in our continent. DataCite, we introduced the Global Access Program, and I'm working with a lot of stakeholders within the country, the continent, the policymakers, the integrators, the researchers. We also provide fund this year, which is called the Global Access Fund. Many of those that will be successful will be announced in December. Of course, a lot of African communities are part of those that I'm hoping will be beneficiary to this funding. So we are doing a lot of work together. We work on the metadata to make research work connect. The FAIR score, we are working with Crossref, ORCID, and many universities in the Northern Hemisphere to promote the visibility of research outputs. Invariably, what we are working together is we want to take our continent, our region to limelight, because we realize that many of our research outputs, they are lying down in our universities, in our colleges, and many people don't know what we are doing. So we are working together to bring them out in collaboration with the stakeholders, the policymakers, the researchers, and organizations just like, AfricArXiv is doing with UbuntuNet, so that we can create visibility. Yeah, I think that summarizes some of what we are doing together.
Thank you. And Ubanda, maybe to add to that, also I just shared in the chat that Crossref has its own webinar series, which is also highly informative and taps into many of the topics you raised also here with us today.
Great, thank you.
Something to add?
Yeah, great, thank you. Yeah, so we had we came we had the last webinar series, I think, on 1st of November. But then we're gonna have we are likely to have another Better Together webinar series, which we do together with ORCID, DataCite and Crossref, to share with the community how the different open infrastructure services work, and how maybe different community members can integrate the different open infrastructure for the that best fit what they're doing. Yeah. And and so you encourage to maybe join the communities, the different communities, maybe I think ORCID community or data site community, Crossref community, and there'll be updates when there is the next Better Together webinar or webinar series. Yeah, and I think that there's been a lot of engagement from the audience in the previous Better Together webinar series. Also, some showing case studies where we've been using the 3 open infrastructure services, for example, how like they're how they integrated with data site and Crossref, and also how maybe their researchers as well make it easier for them by adding their ORCID ID information. Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Joe.
Most welcome. Ibuka, final remarks. Just checking the time. I think people want to take in their lunch and other things.
That's really important. All right, thank you all. Thank you, Wanda, for this for leading us through the activities of Crossref and what they're doing to help South from Africa. So thank you all for joining us in this webinar session. The recording of this session will be made available on our website at AfricArXiv.org, and then you can get the full details and register for the ongoing webinar series at AfricArXiv.org/webinar. Thank you all, and if there are no other words from any other person, I think this is the point where we'll say goodbyes and see you in our next session. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, Ibuka. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you. Thank you all. Have a great day.